What's better, a 250% cash on cash return or a 40% ROI? Ruben the Builder here. I've got this numbers genius right here. Guys, we have something special for you today.
Arthur the developer, done over 1,000 lots to date. More than that, I've probably underwrote, I don't know, a couple thousand deals. And so numbers is everything. Today, I wanna break down leverage and what that means when you're talking cash on cash return versus ROI on a project, and how the cash on cash is not as important as the ROI. My answer to that question, all day I would take the 40% ROI versus the 250% cash on cash. Let's break it down on the iPad. Before we get into this, you have to understand the difference in cash on cash and ROI. So cash on cash is the down payment, or I'm sorry, the profit, so what money you've made on the deal, divided by the cash that came out of your bank account, the down payment. Because you could have a loan on the project. I'm talking about just the money you invested and then the return that you received. So let's just say hypothetically, this is a personal house game because 400% on a project is not as likely. We're usually anywhere from 150 to 200. So 200K profit on a build. You put 50 grand down. You divide that number, which equals you made 4 times your money, which is 400%.
The total cash back that you're gonna get
you'll get
out.
You'll get a wire from the bank for 250, but the actual profit was the 200.
Awesome.
ROI.
Now let's define ROI.
Is gonna be the total profit,
okay,
and the total cost.
Divided by the total cost.
Well, this one's gonna be profit divided by cost. I think it's cost divided by profit, because you're talking well, let's see, 250,000 divided by, let's say, $1 million project, correct. So total profit is, let's say 200 and, let's say
so
number,
just cut
200K.
that section out.
Okay, ROI, ready? So the ROI is gonna be the total profit divided by the total cost. This does not include your down payments, your loans. It's just how much did the project cost and how much did you make. So let's say 200,000.
Profit?
Yeah, on the deal, that was, let's say, a better deal. But the project cost $1 million. Okay, that means that you have a 20% return, because the 200,000 on the $1 million is 20%. So would I rather have a 40% ROI or a 200% cash on cash? I like the ROI because as soon as you get below the threshold, let's just say of 20%, you're starting to take some risk.
So to clarify, guys, why would Arthur rather take an ROI versus a cash on cash, even though we love cash on cash? Because with safe leverage, you can grow your money at an incredibly fast pace. The reason is because the cost versus the profit. So if there was a 40% margin on this project, that would simply mean the cost would stay the same, but his profit would be 400K, which is an insane deal.
Thank you so much for getting this far into the video. If you're an action taker and you're looking for the education side of things, the tools, the resources, everything you need to be successful in the real estate development and new construction game, we have an education platform specifically for you.
So text the word YouTube to 360-216-0323 and we'll get you connected to the right team member. In general, the project is just a good project. Period.
And less risky.
And less
so let's
risky.
do like someone wants to put 50% down on a deal. So they're gonna put 500 grand down.
Okay.
And they made that 200,000. So what does that look like? Because I want to show you guys, because now you go, oh, well, the cash on cash is not as good, but you have to understand the ROI was good on this project, just depends on how much money you're putting in.
So the ROI doesn't change. It's still 20% because this number has nothing to do with ROI. It has everything to do with cash. Oops, cash on cash.
COC. So in this case, you look at 200K of profit divided by the down payment. The reason I'm doing this is Grant Cardone has taught me, you gotta run the numbers. You have to run the numbers multiple times for you to understand it. So cash on this deal, this scenario is 200K profit divided by the down payment of 500K, which equals 40%. So this, if you decided to put 50% down on this deal, you would have made 40% on your money.
So do you guys see? Even though this is still a 20% ROI on the project, the cash on cash is 40%. It's very low. So really, what does this tell you? Number one, your leverage, you're very low risk on leverage, right?
Yep.
Low risk leverage. This is okay for somebody that has tons of capital, right? And they just want to grow at a steady pace. So this is totally fine. But for somebody that is in a stage of building wealth, they truly want to leverage more and they want to risk a little bit more.
But let me ask you a question. Is it risky on $1 million home to put 50 grand down if you're financially qualified? No.
In the personal house game, guys, if I could put 5% down on all of my builds and I knew that they were good deals, 20+% ROI, I would do that all day long because the returns are 300 to 400%.
And they look at your finances, which you're basically backing the real estate by your financial position. This is for somebody that is already active, doing deals, understanding what the real estate game is like, and playing a game of leverage, which means, can I put less money into a deal and still make a good return? As long as my ROI is at least 20 to 25%, I personally feel comfortable doing it. If it goes below that, you're now taking a risk of, if markets cool down a little bit, you'll put yourself in a tight position.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that was really interesting to you. Never opt for only cash on cash if the ROI doesn't make sense. It's very important that you only play the game of leverage when you safely can do so. So number one, opt for ROI first, because that determines if it's a good deal or bad deal, period. And then secondly, go and leverage safely and try to get a good, healthy cash on cash return, depending on which stage of life you are in, whether you are building wealth or you're at the point where you're keeping wealth.
Like, share, and subscribe this video, as we are going to continue to drop tons of value, and the feedback and comments you get, we like to do new lessons on that. So if you ever have something you want to learn, throw it in the comments. We're going to make a module just for you.
We also have a community channel of over 3,000 people. We'd love to see you inside. We recently dropped free resources in there for you. So join that community channel, download those resources. We'd love to help you get started building your first home.